Okay, good evening, my Vayetzei. Tonight's Zera Shimshon is sponsored for Refuah Shalema for Gitalea Bas Ahuva and anonymous for Haidu Lashem Ki Toiv Ki La'olam Chazdoi. How many words is in Haidu Lashem Ki Toiv Ki La'olam Chazdoi? 7 words. And how many letters? 24. So you have to say Haidu 24/7. 24 letters, 7 words. How many letters are there? What's that? How many letters are there in the whole Mizmor L'Soida? How many letters? 168. 24 times 7 is 168. 168 every minute of the day, every hour. I didn't start. I just bumped into the right person right before the shir. Siyata Deshmaya.
Is also 724.
724. And now Yitzi shows up. This would have been the vart that he would have appreciated the most. Now he shows up. Okay, good evening, my Rabbi. Zera Shimshon, Parshas Vayetzei, letter Vav. It's on page Reish Tzadik Zayin. The schus Reb Shimshon Chaim ben Menachem Mechol soll ins helfen. Reb Shimshon Mechol, Nachamol. Reb Shimshon Chaim ben Reb Nachman Mechol. The schus should help us. Everybody should be Zoicha, Yeshuas, Nechamas, Brachas, V'Haidos, Kol HaTov. The fact that Dolan came here tonight on a Thanksgiving night and giving your time to our family. You're here in Inzer Mishpacha, the Zera Shimshon Mishpacha. So Be'ezus Hashem Yisbarach, so this will be a source and a makar for Besuras Tyrus Be'ezus Hashem for this coming week and for many weeks to come.
What's the shayla? What will be?
Manoira hamokaim hazeh. Let's take a look at the pasuk. My Rabbi said, "Hafla fella dika Zera Shimshon for tonight." Vayira vayomer. When Yaakov Avinu wakes up, the Torah Kedosha says, "Vayikatz Yaakov mishnas vayomer ochein yesh Hashem b'mokem hazeh v'noichi lo yodoti." Hashem is here. I had no idea. Vayira vayomer manoira hamokem hazeh. Ein zeh ki im beis Elokim v'zeh shar hashamoyim. Rashi brings down, as it's brought down in the Gemara and the Midrashim, this is Shar HaShamayim, means this is the Mokum of Beis HaMikdash. Let's take a look at what he says over here. Kosha, Loma Omar Beloshon Shlili. You know what Shlili means? Negativi. Right. Yesh positivi, v'yesh negativi. That's Hebrew, by the way. It's shlili, ein zeh. Maza ein zeh? Ein zeh. What does ein zeh? Lo haya lama, he should have just said, zeh beis Elokim. This is the Chumash, right? The Torah Kedosha is being dictated to Moshe Rabbeinu from the Eibishter. Eibishter told Moshe Rabbeinu what to write. No. V'oid lama amar hashevach hazeh, this shevach of noira. Why? Question number 2. Why noira? My noira, maybe my godol. How great this place is. A gvura. The definition of the word noira means awesome. Noira, awe-inspiring. How awesome. Why that name? Ma'u noira. The mashma, and then it says another kasha number 3. Ma'u ma noira. The mashma noira biyoser. Lo stam noira, ela odyoter. Ma noira hamakam hazeh. It isn't just noira, it's even more noira than I could have imagined. 3 kashas so far. What's taka the lashon shlili ein zeh? What's the lashon of noira in general? And what is the additional man noira? Those are his 3 kashas. And now he goes to explain. Because of Beis Yosef, b'shem Agos Mordechai. Yesh b'nei Adam, there is a minig. where people place a stone, an even, tachas roisham, when on Leil Tisha B'Av.
Underneath the pillow.
Underneath the pillow. Shamata mizeh. Yeah? People put a stone there. It's brought down in halacha. V'remez l'davar, vayikach me'avnei hamakom. From this pasuk, from this incident, from Yaakov Avinu. Ubeis hamikdash ra, d'chsiv manoira hamakom, v'churban ra'a. And not only did he see the Beis HaMikdash, he saw the Churban Beis HaMikdash. Parshas, we're taught that Yaakov Avinu saw an amazing dream. It was all positive and all good. Now we're learning that this dream was also makar for the Churban Beis HaMikdash. Is that Omer Darsheni? Kasha heicha remiza b'pasuk sheYaakov ra Churban. V'shtei das. What are you saying, Rabbi Vayetzei?
This was Tisha B'Av night?
Tisha B'Av, this was not Tisha B'Av night. No, but on Tisha B'Av night, you're supposed to put the stone there. I know what you're asking. Ich habe verstanden. Ich habe geantwortet. Right? I told you. You're right. It's not Tisha B'Av night, but yet Tisha B'Av night is merumas here by the fact that you're supposed to put a stone because he put a stone. But what does that have to do with Tisha B'Av? The teretz is because he saw the Churban. He saw the Churban, I thought he saw the binyan. Ela kach pirushay. Manoira hamokem hazeh hainu beis hamikdash shira. Avada manoira means he saw the Beis HaMikdash. V'achar she'ara as Beis HaMikdash, loy amar Beis Elokim, ela ein zeh. Oisay Beis HaMikdash shehoya sheyiyeh kayim lo'ad. Ein zeh oisay Beis HaMikdash. It's not the Beis HaMikdash, shezeh osid li charev, because that's going to be destroyed. Umau Beis HaMikdash Kayim, which is the one that's going to be stay forever. Ma sheyivne HaKadosh Baruch Hu ma'atzmai ki im Beis Elokim. There's going to be a second Beis HaMikdash that's going to be built by the Eibishter Alein. As it says, Min HaShamayim, right? We say on Tisha B'Av, when we have that, our addition that we say in Nachem, yes, we say Nachem. By Bnei Yerushalayim, Ani, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, I caused it to be destroyed, and Ani osad livnoisai, right? I'm going to build it. So that's called Ki'im Beis Elokim. So when he says, Manoira hamokim hazeh, that's one Beis HaMikdash, but Ein zeh Ki'im Beis Elokim. It's not the Beis HaMikdash of Beis Elokim. It's not that Beis HaMikdash, because that Beis Elokim will be an eternal Beis HaMikdash. That is merames, that there's a Beis HaMikdash where that it will be a bigger one and a smaller one. The emissaries, one second, Rebelli, just 1 second. Halt noch in mitten, okay? The emissaries, I don't understand the Zera Shimshon. He's very good at quoting Midrashim, usually, and it's a Mefurish Medrash. It's a Mefurish Medrash. In Parshas Vayetzei, Perek Samach Tes, on this pasuk, Perek Samach Tes, letter Zayin, Vayiketz Mishnosoi, says the Medrash, Vayikra Shem Amokamu Beis Kel, Ein Zekim Beis Elokim V'zeh Shar Shemaim, Amr Bacha, Amr B'Shim Bayichoy, Ein Beis HaMikdash Shalamala Gavoy Beis HaMikdash Shal Yud Chesmil, V'dover Acham Elamet Shera Kodesh Baruch Hu LeYaakov Beis HaMikdash Banui V'Charev Ubanui. He saw 3 different stages. Banui, Charuv, Ubanui. How do I know this? Zok the Medrash. Vayira vayomer manoira hamokem hazeh. Manoira hamokem hazeh is Banui. Manoira hamokem hazeh. How awesome this place is. Noira. How awesome. Noira is Banui. Eich ato oimer noira Elokim mimikdoshecha. The noira of the Eibishter, his awesomeness is mimikdoshecha. When do we say that? Every day by davening in Hoidah. Noira Elokim mikdoshecha, kel yisrael nois and nois v'satzumas la'am, baruch Elokim. Ein zeh Ein zeh, zeh chorev. Ein zeh means the house that was there, I see in front of me, ein zeh. I see the churban. K'moy dat amar, al zeh hoyadova libeinu, al eila choshku einenu. Ein zeh. So he saw the house and then he saw its destruction. Ki im beis elikim bonui u'mishuchlal la'osid lavai. The house that would be built and perfected and beautiful for future. K'moy dat amar, like it says, ki chizei biriche she'orayich. So in the Medrash state, I'm surprised at the Zera Shimshon, why he didn't quote it. He had a efrekt akasha, vu state, Medrash state. The Ein Zeh isn't just because Ein Zeh Beis Elikim. Ein Zeh Alein means it's not a Beis HaMikdash. Shteit Azoi. Okay? Back to the Zera Shimshon. Zog the Zera Shimshon. We'll use this again. Omnom, Mokam Zeh Lo'olam Hu Shar HaShamayim. Even when it's a Zman of Churban, when there is no Beis HaMikdash, it's still Shar HaShamayim. Reading the pasuk, Manoira Mokam Hazeh Beis HaMikdash Rishon. Ein Zeh destruction of the Beis HaMikdash. Ki im Beis Elikim La'osid Lavai, the third Beis HaMikdash. V'zeh Shar HaShamayim, in all three matzovim, ya, nisht, ya, mekengetin kesel, you can go, even though there's no Beis HaMikdash, but it's still Shar HaShamayim. Says the Zera Shimshon, Omna mokam zeh lo'olam hu Shar HaShamayim. V'kuli alma Mechavnem livam betfilosam derech beis kodesh hakadoshim. The whole world's tfilas go through derech beis kodesh hakadoshim. Taka, it's very appropriate when it says Malachei Elokim Oilim v'yordim boy. Oilim v'yordim boy means in the ladder, correct? Oilim v'yordim boy. Which malachim did he see? No. Which Malchi Umas? Correct. Which Malchi Umas Oilam? Bavel, Paras Umadai, right? Yavan, and the Roman Empire. Correct. The Western civilization. He saw all four. Chazal bring down the Gemara in Chulin Daf Tzadik Aleph. Says that he saw four malachim.
The last one never ended.
Each one goes up a certain number of rungs. Those rungs depend on our tolui, how many years Klal Yisrael was in Golus by that Malchus. Which means, the first one says it's in the Medrash Tanchuma, in this week's Parsha right over here. The first Malach went up 70 rungs, and then came down. That's Malchus Bavel, that Klal Yisrael was told they're going for 70 years. The next one was Paras Umadai, that went up 52 rungs, and then it came down because there were 52 years under Paras Umadai. The next one went up, I think it's 180 rungs, because for 180 years they were subservient and tachas the shlita of the Greeks, the Yevanim. And then the fourth one went up, up and up and up and up. Thousands of rungs. We're in Golus for 2,000 years. At that point says, Yaakov Avinu got scared. And Yaakov Avinu said in his dream to the Eibishter, will this angel ever come down? Meaning, when will there be an end to this Golus? Says the Rebbeinu Shalom, don't worry. Al tira avdi Yaakov. Even if he puts himself up like a nesher, like he puts himself up into the sky, misham hayrida. I'm going to, like, the bigger they are, the harder they'll fall down. As I state in the Medrash, I think Rashi also quotes it, the Ramban says, Lefi dvareinu of the Medrash on the Zera Shimshon, everything is so perfectly crystal clear. He saw the building of the Beis HaMikdash, and he says he saw the destruction. Who were they destroyed by? Who was shoylet on the Beis HaMikdash? These four malachim. So he saw the events of the Beis HaMikdash with those kaiches in the Umas Ha'olam who would have shlita on the Beis HaMikdash. It's exactly what he saw. Those angels weren't an additional part of the dream. He saw the Beis HaMikdash and he saw them. Nay, it's the same dream. It's all about the binyan and the churban of the Beis HaMikdash in its place by the people who will, unfortunately, who have the koyach to be machriv the Beis Hamikdash. Does the given ein cholam of manoira hamokim hazeh. That's what this cholam was. Now, let's go a step farther. Veyadua, it is well known, Sheyirmiyah v'Daniel la'achar hachorban loyhoyo rotzu loymar gibor v'noira. As we're about to see in the Gemara momentarily, we'll read the Gemara inside. When Moshe Rabbeinu was Mishabeach the Eibishter, in the Torah, it says, Hagadol, Hagibor, V'hanoira. Because thanks to Klal Yisrael, the fact that HaKadosh Baruch Hu took care of us, like in Yetzias Mitzrayim, you were able to see the Eibishter, Godol, Gibor, V'hanoira. They went through the desert, the Mon, the Ananei HaKavod, Klal Yisrael wiping out Sichon and Oig. You could see how the Eibishter was Godol, Gibor, V'hanoira. But as the Klal Yisrael started losing its shlita in the Eretz Yisrael and on the Beis HaMikdash, and the Goyim took over, the Nevi'im said, Aye, where is his Gedula? Aye, Noira Oisav. How could you say this is a place which is Noira, awesome? Look at what's going on with the Goyim. And in honest truth, they had to stop saying, the Nevi'im said, Ich kann das nicht sagen. I can't look at the Beis HaMikdash, I can't look at Klal Yisrael and say that the Eibishter is Godol, Gibor, V'noira. Until years later, also Anshe Knesset Gedoyle v'Amar Hein Noirosov. Let's take a look at this Gemara for a moment because we'll learn a lot from it. Gedek, my Rebbe Zichron Levracha would quote this Gemara very often, also during this time before Chanukah, both before Chanukah and before Purim. The Gemara says like this: Amar Reb Yehoshua ben Levi, Lama Nikram Shemam Anshe Knesses Hagedoyla. Why did they get this name? The Anshe, they were the men of the Knesses. Ich meine nicht jene Knesses, right? Eulam versteht, ja? Nicht nur der Satmaras verstehen das, right? Everybody. It's nicht dieselbe Sache, right? We understand. No, yeah. Where?
So that's a Knesset.
Right.
It's a Knesset.
Right. Good gesagt. Yeah, I have no problems. I also once voted Gimel, you know, but
For the record.
For the record. Right. Okay, that Taka didn't. Right. Now, why they called Anshe Knesses Hagedoyla? She'echziru Atorah liyoshna. They brought back the Atorah, the crown. They brought back the glory of old days. They were machzir Atorah. They brought back the crown. Favos. Also Moshe Rabbeinu hat gesagt, steht, Ki Hashem Elokeichem, Hu Hashem Elokim, Adonai Hu Adonim, Hakel, Hagodol, Hagibor, V'Hanoira, Shelo Yisa Ponim V'Yikach Shoichad. That's in Parshas Eikev. He called the Eibishter Godol, Gibor, V'Hanoira. Hakel, Hagodol. We say in davening every day. Hakel, Hagodol, Hagibor, V'Hanoira. Also Yirmiyah v'Amar Nochrim Mekarkarim Behecholoi. The Goyim are pouncing around. They're making a embarrassment, mach gespet, right? And look what they're doing. Aye Noira Oisov, Lo Yomar Noira. So when he addressed the Eibishter, he said, I can't honestly say that the Eibishter is Noira, is awesome. Look what's going on. Also, Daniel Nochrim Mishtabdim Bebonov. Nishnor them. They're already not, Daniel was already around by the Churban Beis HaMikdash. And now Klal Yisrael was under Achashverosh. And Klal Yisrael was under Nebuchadnezzar. And Klal Yisrael was in Golus. This is called Gevurah, the strength of the Eibishter, Ayek V'Roisav, Lo Yomar Gibor. So he was diminished. It was Akel HaGodol. The way these two Nevi'im addressed the Eibishter, because of Klal Yisrael being in Shibud and being in Golus, B'sach HaKol, they could say Akel HaGodol. Omar Osu Inu Hom Anshe Knesset Gedolah Gekumen, and they said a svara. They said, you're right. We're by the Goyim. We don't have a Beis HaMikdash. Everything you say is true. But Adarabba, Zui Gvuras Gibiroisav. This is the greatness of the Eibishter. Shekavash es Yitzroi v'nosan erech apayim l'rishoyim. Ve'elu hei noira oisav. Shilmolei moira shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu eich uma achas yechoyle liskayim ben umas. We should be long dead by now. We should be gone. Like one of the places it says, keves echad ben shivim ze'evim. One little keves amongst 70 wolves. They should rip us apart, and they try every day. Every day and every place in the world, and we're still around. Is that not because of the gevura of the Eibishter? Is that not because of the noira of the Eibishter? Or isn't our survival a testimony to HaKadosh Baruch Hu's gevura, gedula, and noira? Says the Gemara, v'rabbanan hechi avdi hachi, v'akri takanta der Moshe. So the Gemara says, how could the Rabbanan do that? Gemara get that. How could Yirmiyah and Daniel stop saying? So the Gemara says, because they were saying al pi nevuah, and therefore they had to say b'nevuah. But the Chachamim were saying kefi chachmasam. Says the Gemara, machzir atorah liyoshna. They brought back the glory of the Eibishter. And if you think about it, it's a very tifa vart. While in the Churban, Daniel and Yirmiyah, who were Nevi'im, spokesmen of the Eibishter, they said, I can't say, we're supposed to represent Hashem, and Hashem is supposed to get involved, but he's not getting involved. So the Eibishter is holding back. So mitzad, and this is a tifa vart, mitzad, the perspective of the Navi, there's no gilui from the Eibishter. You don't see the Eibishter here. There's no Beis HaMikdash. We're not on our land. We're in Bavel, we're in Modai, we're all in Golis. Comes the Anshe Knesset HaGedolah and says, from the Churban, I see the Gedula and the Gevur of the Eibishter. They look at the Churban with a different perspective, and they're able to see the longevity and the eternity that Klal Yisrael will never be lost, because look how much are trying to destroy us, and they're not capable of doing it. Zok de Zera Shimshon, the Oymar Hein Noirosov, which means Midas Noira, this awesomeness, this midah of Noira, Hainu Midasei Shel Yaakov Kenoida Besoid HaMidah. When we talk about in our Shmoin Esrei, we say, Baruch Atah Hashem, Elokeinu v'Elokei Avosenu, Elokei Avraham, Elokei Yitzchak, v'Elokei Yaakov. That's a series of three. Then we say, Hakel, Hagodol, Hagibar, V'Hanoira. Says the Zera Shimshon, Elokei Avram, Elokei Yitzchak, Elokei Yaakov is Godol. Avram Avinu is Adam Hagodol Ba'anokim. Yitzchak is Gvura. Yitzchak is Lech Meimanu Ki Atzamta Ma'oid, like the Pelishtim said to him. He was the Koyach of Gevura, the richest of all the Avos, the one who represented the Gresta Gevura. It's in the Tefillah of Gevurais. And Noira is Midas Yaakov Avinu. That's Agodol, Hagibar, V'Anoira. The Vilna Gaon in his Pirish on Siddur explains that this theme repeats itself. Elokei Avraham, Elokei Yitzchak, Elokei Yaakov is Agodol, Gibar, V'Anoira. Through Avram, we see that the Eibishter is Godol. Through Yitzchak, he is Gibar, and through Yaakov is Noira. Says the Zera Shimshon. V'lachein Amar Ma Noira HaMokem Hazeh. Meaning, Af Bizman She'ein Zeh. Even when there's an Ein Zeh. So the Noira of the Beis HaMikdash is Nishda. Und Daniel and Yirmiyahu ken nicht sagen Noira. Aber sagt Anshe Knesset HaGedolah meken ya sagen Noira. You could say Noira. Why? Because even in Ein Zeh, there's still Klal Yisrael. Klal Yisrael is still surviving. So that's not only Noira, that's man Noira. When you would expect there shouldn't be any Noira, there's still Noira in a different way. That's man Noira. Kaloimar, Shehei Charav, V'oz yeh yoser Noira, Shehein Hein Noira Oisav. My Rebbe, Zechrono Levracha, had verteidigt the Pasuk. that the Zera Shimshon just mentioned, or that the Medrash mentioned. There's a siddur over here, maybe. Just bring me a siddur, please, for a minute. Sorry to be mishtamish with Reb Eli. Noira Elokim memikdashecha. That's the pasuk we quoted in the Medrash. That's the source that the Beis HaMikdash is called Noira. Noira Elokim memikdashecha. One form of Noira is the Beis HaMikdash. But what happens when there's no Beis HaMikdash? So l'char you say, I ain't Noira Isav. No. Says the Gemara, there's still another Noira. What's the Noira? Klal Yisrael. The fact that we're still surviving. Kael Yisrael, continues the pasuk. The Kael, the God, the power of Klal Yisrael, of the Bnei Yisrael. Hu noisen oiz v'satzumas la'am. He gives the koyach to Klal Yisrael. There's Noira Elokim Mikdashecha, and then there's also Noira Elokim through Kael Yisrael, Noisen Oiz V'Satzumas La'am. In English, he's giving strength to our nation. As people try to destroy us, the same Midas Noira that's Nisgale in the Beis HaMikdash is Nisgale through Klal Yisrael. So therefore, the Reisha of the Pasuk, Baruch Elokim. We're saying the pasuk again. Noira Elokim Mikdashecha. I see your noiros because ma noira mokem hazeh. You would think that only when there's a Beis HaMikdash is there noiros of the Eibishter. State in Yaakov's dream, ein zeh. Even when there's no Beis HaMikdash, and you think that we're down the drain and there's nothing left with us, and you think that we're choruv, zogich eich, no. Kael Yisrael hu noisen oiz v'satzumas la'am. There's strength in our nation. That's another Noira. That's the Noira of us. This is the secret of building Bayis Sheni. I'll take a few minutes. I want to say over which I was inspired from my Rebbe. And it's in the Sefer. It's chapter 11 in the Sefer. It's not Nogea to Sukkos, but it's Nogea to all Yomim Tovim. And it's this, the Makar is this Vart. It's this Zera Shimshon, which is a Makar to this. It's this piece from Rabbi Shapiro Zechron Levracha. When Klal Yisrael lost the Beis HaMikdash, not only did they lose the Beis HaMikdash, they lost the opportunity to have or celebrate any Yomim Tovim. Farvos. There's no Aliyah L'Regel. The Mitzias, why in the Torah is it called Gimel Regolim? Shalosh Pamim Bashana Yereah Kol Zechurcha. You had to, some people, it's very nice, they go to Eretz Yisrael for Sukkos. They say, okay, we go for Sukkos, I'll go for Pesach. I'm not going for Shavuos. I was just there. Habibi. Gimel, if you want to be Mekayim the mitzvah, we don't have a Beis HaMikdash. There'll be a Beis HaMikdash from here, but we're going to have to go. Yereh Kol Zechurcha, no choices. Elal's making a lot of money now anyway. You have to go. This right. The beginning, the first chapter of the Sefer talks about the three different connections. There's three different emunas with the three different connections. But you have to go. That's the way you're Chagig Yontif. Yontif is coming to the Beis HaMikdash. And Sukkos Gelt. There's Shalmei Chagiga. You have to bring a carbon Pesach. Where did you eat the carbon Pesach? In Yerushalayim. What happens if I don't want to bring one? What do you mean you have no choice? You get chorus. Yeah. You get chorus. Right? Unless you have a good excuse, then you have Pesach Sheni. Right? But if you don't come Pesach Rishon, come Pesach, it's one of the only mitzvahs I say, chutz from that in Bris Milah. If you don't do it, right, you're not part of Klal Yisrael. And then you can, so the whole order of Yom Tif, the whole order of Mo'adim, I want to use the Lashon of the Torah. In the Torah state, right, Mo'adim, Chagim, Zmanim, state, right, Chagim, it's a Chag, right, it's a Regel. All of those things are because It's meant to be celebrated with the Eibishter. Okay? Vu is there in the Beis HaMikdash. So what do you got to do? Go buy a carbon. When you bought a carbon, you had to sleep over at nighttime. You can't go home. That's the way to celebrate Yom Tov, right? To celebrate the Chag. Comes Mordechai, and Mordechai says, I want to make a Yom Tov. I want to make a Yom Tov. How can you make a Yom Tov if you don't have a Beis HaMikdash? What's that? Purim. Me'eva l'Yom Tov. I want to make a Yom Tov. Right? I want to make a Yom Tov. No, you don't have a Beis HaMikdash. And it says, the Gemara brings down, he wanted to make Yom Tov with Isser Malacha, like a regular Yom Tov. But the Anshe Knesset Gedolah pushed back. It was a Gzeira She'en Tzib Yachal Lamed Ba. You can't make a Gzeira that's too hard. So they said no. Mishta v'Simcha, and the Yom Tov will be Yaitzu with Mishta v'Simcha, etc. The teretz is, what's a Beis HaMikdash? Noira. You have a Beis HaMikdash. You people sitting here, Klal Yisrael is a Beis HaMikdash. The survival of the Jewish people, when Haman says, Lahashmid ulahareg ula'abed es kol Yehudim, and the decree is passed, and it's written in all 127 Medinas, Lahashmid v'lahareg, v'ksav shenechtav v'nechtam mitabas hamelach ein lahoshiv. This decree is happening. There's no way this is not happening, because you can't veto it, you can't revoke it. That means that Klal Yisrael is chopped liver, period. Minced, they're done. And how do they survive? That they could be lamed al nafsham, so you could fight back. The Gezerah never became batel, my Rebbe Zechron Levracha said. But we have a schus to fight against that Gezerah. What happened? Avada. Klal Yisrael survived. That means that the Noira of the Beis HaMikdash is Nisgale Gevarin in Noira Elokim. The Noira of Hein Noiraisav. You're bigger, Ma Noira, than the Beis HaMikdash. You yourself, Klal Yisrael, are surviving the Gezerah of Haman and all of the Hitlers, Yamach Shemam, that try to wipe us out. So Mordechai, who was part of Anshe Knesset HaGedolah, was one of the members, said, Rabbi Sai, Medaf nicht haben kein Beis HaMikdash. Meo hab ma Beis HaMikdash. Ein zeh, even when there is no Beis HaMikdash, aber nicht nur Noira, ma Noira. Look how unbelievable the Eibishter is through us. We're still surviving. So you have Ashras Ashchina, Macha Beis HaKnesses, Macha Beis HaMedrash. Get 10 people to come. Here's your Ashras Ashchina. You can make a Yom Tov and stay at home too. When it'll come a Beis HaMikdash, we'll have to go there and bring karbanos. But in the meantime, for life fig. In the meantime, don't tell me you can't have a Yom Tov. Don't tell me you can't have a holiday. Of course you can have a holiday. You know why? Because the Noira of the Beis HaMikdash, even when there's Ein Zeh, so noch alsta Noira in Klal Yisrael, is always Noira, because we're surviving. That's the Noira of the Eibishter. That's what the Torah HaKadoshah was teaching us. Ein Zeh, that's what the Medrash says, and that's what we say in our davening. Noira lekim mikdashecha, that's one Noira. And when that Noira is not there, Kael Yisrael, the Eibishter, who knows an oiz, strength, v'sa'atzumos, power, la'am, baruch elikim, that's the other Noira. That's the Yom Tov. Even by there's a shlita of the Goyim, but the Jews survive. Chanukah, Purim. Chanukah, we had a Beis HaMikdash, but it was Tameh, we got it back. But Purim, which came beforehand, was a Zman of no Beis HaMikdash. Oh, Besnachal Sa Yom Tov. Where's the Noira? Man Noira. That's Klal Yisrael. If Chananya ben Akash Shemer, what's HaKadosh Baruch Hu, L'Zaka says Yisrael.